On the first half of our lesson, this first day of medians and altitudes, we are only focusing on the median portion of triangles. And a median is that line or a line segment that goes from the vertex of an angle to the midpoint of the opposite side. So, of course, creating a midpoint, and that is the median. And the medians will all intersect at the point of concurrency called the centroid. So P is my centroid there. One of the characteristics that we get, one of the properties we get from the centroid is that 2/3 of its length, let me see here, 2/3 of the distance from the vertex to the midpoint. Okay, so from the vertex to the midpoint, here's my vertex traveling to the midpoint, or the median, traveling to the median, down to the midpoint of the far side. This is going to be 2 times this. That's the ratio, or that's the comparison. Or I could say that this is 2/3 and this is 1/3 of the median. So that is where we're talking about using median and their values. So as we move forward into some of the examples today, labeling our points, talking about a centroid here as we look at these examples, so that means these are medians. So if U is the centroid here, number 1, we should be able to quickly say, well, then the median has split bisected the opposite side in half. And so all of these would be bisected. And then we know that from the vertex to the center is going to be 2/3. This is going to be 1/3. This is going to be 2/3 of the value. This is going to, so the shorter end past the median is 1/3. 1/3, this would be 2/3. So we're able to use that information. So, I mean, think about it. If this is 1/3, like 12 is equal to 1/3 of some number, we can figure out what that number is for the entire length, CK. So, 12 is 1/3 of CK. Or we could also say that CU is equal to 2 times UK. So this portion right here, CU, is actually 24. So just using that 2-to-1 ratio, or the 2/3 and 1/3 ratio, we're able to calculate some of that information. Looking at number 2, if I look at this UB, if these are medians, right? It's a median because we have our side has been bisected or found to the midpoint of E. I know that this is equal to 2 times this. This equals BU is equal to 2 times EU, because that is from the vertex to the centroid. So I could fill in my numbers. I could say, 12 is equal to 2 times EU, divide by 2, and then I know that EU is equal to 6. So 6. So then I can look at that and say, well, BE is equal to 18. And sure enough, EU is 1/3 of 18. EUB is 2/3 of 18. So yeah, I'm able to use those properties. As I look here for the centroid, I'm going to have to graph these. It's going to take a little bit more effort, but we're able to do that. I don't have an example here though, but let's see here. If I look at number 9, what point should she place the string? Well, what are they talking about here? Camilla made a collage with pictures of her trip in Europe, and she wants to hang the collage from the ceiling in her room so that it is parallel to the ceiling. She draws a model of the cottage on the coordinate grid. Okay. At what point should she place the string? Goodness gracious. So looking for my centroid, I know as I travel, if I just zoom in on this real quick, we said that we're going to do the halfway point. So I could calculate the halfway point between this point and this point using the distance formula. And I could also calculate it by counting that the distance from here to here is 3. So I could find out that my halfway point, my midpoint, is going to be that right there. So if I did the midpoint formula, I can find that. So I'm going to have this median formed. The halfway point between 0 and 8 is going to be 4. So there's my other median. So this piece is equal to that. And then I'm starting to see this form right here. This should be my centroid. So again, my halfway point from here to here is probably going to fall right about there. And I get my median right there. And so my centroid, looks like my centroid is falling right there. It's always better with sound effects. And it should be X is 1, Y is 4. So we're able to draw that information in there. Again, to be more precise, we could have done the midpoint formula. The midpoint formula would be, let's see here. The midpoint of this segment would be 0 plus 3 divided by 2, and 8 plus 4 divided by 2, which is going to be 3/2 and 6. Sure enough, this point right here is 3/2 and 6. So there we go. We did make a good estimate. Let's see what else I'm doing here. We would have been calculating these problems. So there you go. That's the first half of 6.3 with our median examples. Other centroid problems, and of course these are going to have to be graphed. So we'll orthocenter. This is for tomorrow. So that's what we would have